In this video, we're going to be talking about the best approach for you to get the greatest results. Is that the athlete's approach or is it the warrior's way? Each belief has its own merits, and some people will choose to subscribe to either one of them based on one key principle. If you're looking at the warrior's way, they hold suffering as the highest virtue. Those people who can grind it out, do the most beastly and extreme workouts or challenges, that is when you know reaching your highest values. In the context of what that looks like, if you was to see someone running a marathon, it's not the person who crosses the line in 4 hours and looks and feels good about themselves. It's the person that during that marathon, they fell over, their knee completely went, they somehow damaged and broke their arm in the process as well. The more injury, the more extreme the experience was, then that is what shows that you actually have achieved something. It's putting everything on the line and regards suffering as its highest virtue. The best example of this is about building a weed mentality. If you could imagine a weed in your garden, I have seen weeds growing from concrete. I've seen weeds growing from metal signs when there's absolutely nothing around for it to even give you an impression that it should be able to grow, but somehow it still finds a way. The challenge with that, when we embrace it as a philosophy in our own selves, it's all about suffering. And we can only suffer so much because the moment you start going through it, you're always looking at punishing yourself. And when you come at it from a motivational point of view, doing hard things for the sake of just because they're hard, it's really hard to incorporate that for long periods of time into your life. The athlete's approach is slightly different. It's all about bringing everything you're doing and allowing you to peak at your absolute perfection, at your very, very best for one single moment in time. Whether that is posing for a picture in a camera, whether that is playing a sport, it's about to help heighten you to that specific purpose. The best example of this is to think of the orchid. Whereas the weed is tough and resilient and will grow in anything, the orchid is more delicate. Everything has to be just right. You give it too much water, it dies. Too little water, it dies. Too much sunlight, too little sunlight, it dies. So it's more about everything being just right. And that can create anxiety, and procrastination can build, because if things aren't just right, if the solar system, if the planets aren't in alignment, it can cause you to be off your game. And then what tends to happen is if you think, oh, if I can't do it perfectly, I'm not going to do it at all. And then that opens the door to people self-sabotaging and going off the beaten track. But there's a better way. It doesn't have to be one extreme or the other. The reason why most people are so drawn to one of these approaches is because it's sold to them in a romantic kind of view. Rose-colored glasses, if you will. The warrior's way is all about glory.
Spartans, prepare for glory!
It's all about overcoming those obstacles despite what it does to you. Athlete's approach is all about the result. What outcome are you achieving? And in just a moment, I'm going to talk to you about what I believe is the better way, the one that incorporates the strengths from both and enables you to sustain a better life for longer periods of time. In case you're unaware, my name's Thomas Bisson. Please click like and subscribe down below so you can keep up to date with the latest videos. And in the description below, I've also set out the best 5 exercises for you to get started and begin building up your own strength. These 5 exercises are the foundations of which every other exercise is built upon. So getting strong at these will enable you to become stronger in every other area of life. Now back to the better way. Instead of thinking about suffering as your highest virtue or being able to achieve an outcome and attaching your happiness to that outcome, I want you to think about your life. And what I mean by that is what actually makes your life happy. I call this the quality of life equation. How do you know when you are living your best life? Now I'm going to tell you what I think is the best way to move forward. I call it the rational optimizer. It's being able to look at your life and understanding what you need in it to feel fulfilled and to enjoy, get the most out of life as possible. If that's playing a sport, great. If that's spending more time with your friends and family without feeling like you're holding them back, awesome. And what we're going to do, I want you to help and understand and build out that picture. What does your life look like at the moment? And what do you want it to look like? What are the things that you are doing easier? What are the things you can do better? What would you like to do more of? These are the things I want you to start understanding about yourself. The more we can involve you and integrate you into what you want to do, the greater the success and the more likelihood you're going to sustain this lifestyle for as long as possible. The way to start, I call it being a rational optimizer, because it's about taking small, gradual steps. You don't need to do 1,000 calorie deficits every day. You can just start by reducing the portion of your meal by 1 spoonful. Moving that aside, that will be 10 grams less of carbs or 10 grams less of fat, and it will reduce overall. If your energy levels are lacking, you could be choosing to focus your attention on sleep. Can you get an extra 15 minutes of sleep a night? Does that mean you have to leave your phone outside of your bedroom so you can get straight to sleep and allow yourself to drift off without too much interference? These little habits done over time can lead you to having some of the best results possible. And they happen so gradual, so smoothly, that it doesn't even feel like effort as you're doing it. Especially in the beginning, when it comes to building these habits, the easier and more obvious you can make it, the more likely you will be able to do it. And it's exactly the same when it comes to the habits you're trying to get rid of. The harder you make it and the less visible it is, the more chances that you're not going to fall into the trap of repeating that cycle. And my challenge to you is to think about this for a moment. Leave in the comments below one thing that you're going to look at doing at least 1% better tomorrow. That could be drinking an extra glass of water, getting an extra 10 grams of protein, or just doing a 20-minute walk. Let me know in the comments below. And like I said, if you want help with those first 5 exercises, check the description below, and I will catch you next week.